Ethan Cole woke slowly. His eyes opened to a strange light that hurt them. The room around him was cold and metal, and it smelled of dust and old oil. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy, like he had been asleep for a very long time. He remembered something small, an explosion, his friends shouting, and a bright flash of light. After that, nothing. He pushed himself up. The air was dry, and his chest hurt. When he looked at his hand, he noticed something strange. Tiny lines of light moved under his skin. He flexed his fingers, and the lines moved with him. It was not pain, but it was odd. He could feel something inside him that was alive, like it had a mind of its own. Ethan walked to the edge of the room. The walls were covered in old panels, many broken, with wires hanging like snakes. On one panel, a screen flickered. He touched it, and strange symbols appeared, but he did not understand them. He touched another part of the wall, and a map appeared. It showed stars, planets, and a route to somewhere called New Vesper. He didn't know where it was, but something in him told him to go there. He found his clothes. They were torn and dirty. He put them on and looked in a cracked metal mirror. His face shocked him. Across his cheek was a long, jagged scar. It glowed faintly, like light trapped under his skin. It was not a normal scar. It pulsed softly, and Ethan felt a strange heat from it. He touched it and felt a faint hum under his fingers. He did not remember how he got this scar. He did not remember getting hurt, but he remembered the lab, the scientists, and a voice. A woman's voice had said, "He will survive. He will change." That was all he remembered. He did not know why he survived or what he had become. Ethan stepped outside. The air was cold. He could see ruins around him, buildings broken and burned. Dust blew across the ground. The sky was dark with clouds, but far away, stars shone faintly. It looked different from the sky he remembered. He felt both fear and excitement. He was alive. Somehow, he was alive. He walked slowly, unsure where to go. Every sound felt loud. Every shadow looked dangerous. He moved carefully, listening to the wind and the strange creaking of metal. After walking for a while, he saw a small settlement in the distance. Smoke rose from chimneys, and lights flickered. People lived there. Maybe they could help him. Ethan approached the settlement carefully. He did not want to scare anyone. He hid behind a wall and watched. People moved about, talking and carrying supplies. He could see a woman working on a machine. Her hands were busy, but she looked strong and smart. Her name was Laura Pierce. He did not know it yet, but she would be important. He stepped closer, but the sound of his boots made her look up. She saw him and froze. Ethan raised his hand slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said. His voice sounded strange even to him. He was quiet, careful. Laura studied him. She noticed the scar first. Her eyes widened, and she stepped back. This can't be real," she whispered. Her voice shook. She did not understand what she saw, but she knew it was not normal. Ethan touched his cheek. "Do you know me?" he asked. Laura shook her head. "No, I've never seen anything like that. That scar. It looks like something from old stories. Something from Project Omega." Ethan frowned. "Project Omega?" he asked. The name meant nothing to him, but it made him nervous. He could feel a strange pull inside him, as if his body remembered something he could not. Laura studied him for a moment. You might be one of them," she said quietly. "A survivor, but I don't know how." Ethan looked at her. "One of who?" Laura hesitated. She did not know if she should explain. Long ago, before the war ended, there was a secret project. Humans tried to make soldiers stronger, faster, better than normal. Some people say it was a mistake. Others say it was the only hope to survive the war. They called it Project Omega. Ethan felt a strange chill. Something clicked in his mind, but it was not a memory he could place. I don't remember," he said. "I don't remember anything after the explosion." Laura nodded. "That is normal. The experiment, the procedure. It changes memory. It protects you from what you cannot handle. But it does not stop the changes in your body." She looked at his hands. "Your reflexes. Your blood. It is not normal. And that scar, it is not just a scar. It is part of the program. Ethan touched it again. The faint light pulsed. He could feel it under his skin like a heartbeat, but faster. He did not understand it, but it scared him. What did they do to me? He whispered. Laura shook her head. I don't know, but I can help you find out. If you want. Ethan nodded slowly. Yes, I need to know. I need to remember who I am. The next days were strange. Laura helped him adjust to the settlement. She gave him food and water. She fixed some old scanners to check his body. She looked at the scar carefully and the faint pulse under his skin. Each time she tested him, the machines reacted strangely, sometimes with warnings and errors. Ethan could feel the energy moving in his body. It was not dangerous, but it was powerful. One night, while Laura worked on a small device, Ethan sat outside. The wind blew cold across the ruins. He remembered flashes, metal walls, bright lights, voices calling him. The memories were broken, small pieces of something he could not understand. He tried to focus, but the scar pulsed stronger, like it was trying to speak to him. Suddenly, the sky flickered. The lights from the scanners in Laura's workshop went out. The hum from his scar grew louder. Ethan stood up. Something was coming. He could feel it. Laura ran outside, her face pale. Ethan, what is happening? He did not answer. He raised his hand, and the scar glowed bright. A wave of energy shot into the air, making the ground tremble. Small drones appeared from the sky, dark and fast. They moved like hunting animals, scanning for him. Ethan did not think. He reacted. He moved quickly, faster than he thought he could. Energy flowed from his hands, forming a shield that blocked the first attack. Laura stared in shock. You just did that, she whispered. I don't know how, Ethan said. Something inside me. It moves on its own. The drone circled, preparing to strike again. Ethan held up his hands, and more energy formed. The scar on his face glowed brighter. He felt alive in a way he had never felt before. Fear was there, but also power. He could fight, and he could survive. Laura took a deep breath. We need to move, she said. They will not stop, Ethan nodded. Together, they ran into the night. The settlement disappeared behind them. The desert stretched ahead, full of ruins and danger. But Ethan did not feel weak. He did not feel lost. He had a purpose now. He needed to understand himself and to survive, no matter what. The first night in the desert was quiet but tense. Ethan felt the energy inside him pulse with each step. Laura followed, trusting him, though she did not understand fully what he was. They walked under stars that felt different from the ones Ethan remembered. When morning came, the ruins were behind them. The desert stretched farther than they could see. Ethan stopped for a moment. He touched his scar. The light had dimmed, but it was still there, a reminder of what he was and what he might become. Laura looked at him. We will find answers, she said. I promise, Ethan nodded. And when we do, we will decide what comes next. Together, they walked toward New Vesper, unaware of the dangers that waited ahead. Machines hunted him. Secrets of the war still slept in the ruins. But for the first time since he woke, Ethan felt hope. He felt alive. He was human but stronger, different, and he would face whatever came next, and far above. In the darkness of space, sensors stirred. Something watched. Something remembered. Something was coming for Ethan Cole. Ethan and Laura moved across the desert, careful with every step. The wind was cold, and the ruins they passed looked like skeletons of an old war. Ethan could feel the energy inside him pulsing. The scar on his face glowed faintly, as if it was alive. Each time he thought about it, the lines under his skin seemed to respond. It made him nervous, but also stronger. Laura looked at him often, studying him. She could see how different he was. Your body, it's not normal, she said quietly. I have never seen anything like this. You are faster, stronger. And your scar, she shook her head. It is strange. Ethan did not answer. He was used to strange now. What scared him more was that he did not know what he really was. He did not know what had been done to him or why he had survived. All he remembered were pieces, flashes of light, metal walls, and the woman's voice telling him he would change. The sun rose slowly over the dunes. Its light made the sand glow, but it did not make Ethan feel safe. He had learned in the first night that danger could come from anywhere. Machines were hunting him, and he knew they would not stop. He had to stay alert. Laura walked beside him. She carried a small bag with tools and food. She had studied maps of the desert, trying to find the fastest route to New Vesper. "We are far from any city," she said. "If they are sending drones, we cannot hide forever. We need to reach New Vesper before nightfall." Ethan nodded. "I can fight them," he said. "But I do not know why they are looking for me. I do not understand what I am." Laura stopped for a moment and looked at him. "You're not normal," she said. "The scar, the energy, the speed. You were part of a program, Project Omega. Humans tried to make soldiers stronger, faster, smarter. But it was dangerous. Many of the soldiers did not survive. You did." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. "Then, I am the only one left," he whispered. Laura nodded. "It seems so, and if that is true, you are not just strong, you are a weapon." Ethan looked at the desert ahead. He felt heavy with the thought, a weapon. He had never wanted to be one. He wanted to survive, yes, but not like this. Not like a machine with a human face. They walked in silence for hours. The desert was quiet, but Ethan felt eyes on him. He could not see anything, but something in the air told him to be careful. His body moved before his mind did, reacting to threats he could not yet see. Laura noticed, but did not comment. She trusted him. As the sun began to set, Ethan spotted movement in the sky. Small black dots, fast and silent. Drones? They were coming. Laura gasped. "Ethan, they found us." Ethan's scar pulsed brightly. Energy spread across his arms, and his reflexes sharpened. He could feel the machines in the air, trying to track him. He knew instinctively where they would strike first. The first drone dropped from the sky. Fast and metallic, it fired a pulse of light. Ethan moved before the sound reached him, throwing up a shield of energy that blocked the attack. The drone spun away and fired again. He blocked it again, feeling the heat of the energy in his arms. Laura stood behind him, terrified. How are you doing that?" she whispered. "I don't know," Ethan said. "Something inside me. It moves on its own." The drones attacked in a wave. Ethan felt a rush of fear, but also power. His body moved with precision, faster than any human could. Each attack he blocked, each strike he made, was perfect. He did not think. He reacted. The scar on his face glowed brighter with each movement. Laura watched in awe. "You're incredible," she said. But even as she spoke, she realized how dangerous it was. These drones would not stop. They were designed to capture him. No matter what, the battle continued for hours. Ethan and Laura moved across the dunes, using the landscape for cover. Ethan's energy shield protected them, but he could feel the drain. Each pulse of light from the drones made him weaker, but he did not stop. At one point, a drone landed in front of them. It was larger than the others, with blades that spun like wheels. Ethan stepped forward. He raised his hand, and energy shot from his body, melting part of the drone's armor. But the drone was fast. It swung at him with its blades. Ethan ducked and rolled, moving faster than he knew was possible. The drone spun past him and crashed into the sand. Laura ran to him, breathing hard. "Ethan, you are amazing, but you cannot fight them forever," she said. He nodded, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I know. We need a plan." They found shelter behind a rock formation. Ethan's body was tired, but his mind was sharp. "We need to reach the old facility," he said. "There, we can find answers." Laura looked worried. "The old facility? That place is abandoned, full of traps and old security systems. You could be walking into more danger." Ethan touched his scar. "I have to know. I need to understand what I am, what they did to me. If I don't, I will never be free." Laura nodded. "Then we go. Together." The next day, they moved quickly. The desert was harsh, and the sun burned down on them. They rested in the shadows of rocks and ruins. Ethan's energy was still with him. But the more he used it, the more it seemed to burn inside him. He could feel the alien part of him waking, growing stronger. Laura studied the maps as they walked. The facility is here, she said, pointing to a small mark on the map. It was used during the war. Most people think it is destroyed, but some records say it still has power sources and labs. If anyone knows about Project Omega, it is there. Ethan nodded. He felt the pull of his memories again. Flashes of metal walls, bright lights, and voices calling his name. The memories were broken, but they gave him strength. As they neared the facility, the sky darkened, clouds formed quickly, unusual for the desert. Ethan felt the energy inside him pulse faster. Something was waiting. He could feel it. Suddenly, a drone shot out from the clouds. It fired a bright beam at them. Ethan raised his hands, and a shield of energy blocked it. The force of the blast knocked him backward, but he caught himself and moved forward. Laura shouted, "Ethan, we need to get inside now." The facility doors were old, but still functional. Ethan pushed with his strength, and the heavy metal doors opened with a loud creak. They ran inside, and Ethan used the energy from his body to seal the doors behind them. Inside, the facility was dark and cold. Broken lights flickered, casting shadows on the walls. Dust covered the floor. The smell of old metal and chemicals filled the air. Ethan could feel the energy inside him reacting to the facility. Something in him recognized the place. Laura helped him to a terminal. She connected her tools and started scanning. "These readings, they are incredible," she said. "The facility still has active systems. And these files mention Project Omega. They mention you." Ethan looked at her, confused. "Me? How?" Laura pointed to the screen. "Subject 01. First and only survivor. Modified with alien biotech. Your name appears here." They were trying to create the perfect soldier, but the project was abandoned. Most subjects did not survive. Ethan felt a cold shiver. Then, "I am the only one left. The only success." Laura nodded. "It seems so, and that is why they are hunting you. You carry what they wanted, something they could not control." Ethan touched his scar again. It glowed softly, like it had heard her words. He felt the weight of what he was. A weapon, yes, but also a human being. A man who survived when others could not. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A voice echoed through the hall. Mechanical, calm, and familiar. Subject 01 detected. Retrieval units en route. Integration required. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "They know we are here," he said. Laura grabbed his arm. "We need to move. Now." They ran through the dark halls of the facility, past broken machinery and shattered glass. The drones followed, faster than before. Ethan fought them off, his movements precise and powerful. The scar glowed with each pulse of energy he used. For hours, they ran and fought. Ethan began to understand the limits of his body, the power he carried. He was not just human, but more, faster, stronger, and alive in a way he had never known. Finally, they reached a room with old labs and terminals. Laura connected her devices to one terminal. Files began to open, showing experiments, blueprints, and names. The name Ethan Cole appeared again. Laura read aloud, Subject 01. Omega Program. Modified with alien biotech. First and only survivor. Capable of surviving extreme conditions. Memory suppression active. Retrieval required for reintegration. Ethan clenched his fists. "They never wanted me to live," he said quietly. "They wanted a weapon. But I survived." Laura put her hand on his shoulder. "And now, you can decide what comes next. You can choose." Ethan looked at the glowing scar, then at Laura. "We fight. We find the truth. And we survive. No one will control me again. Outside." The desert stretched endlessly. But Ethan felt ready. He was human, yes, but stronger, different. And the war for his freedom was only beginning. Ethan and Laura moved through the facility carefully. The halls were dark, and the air smelled of dust and old metal. Broken machines lay on the floor, and sparks flew from exposed wires. Ethan's scar glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Every step he took felt heavier, as if the building itself watched him. Laura followed closely, her eyes wide. "Do you think we will find answers here?" she whispered. Ethan touched the scar on his face. "I have too. I need to know who I am, what they did to me. If I don't, I'll never be free." They entered a large room filled with consoles and broken screens. Dust covered the surfaces, and some machines still hummed faintly. Laura connected her portable device to one of the terminals. The screen flickered, then came alive with data. Ethan stared, unsure what he would see. Laura read aloud. "Project Omega, Subject 01, Ethan Cole, modified with alien biotech. Enhanced strength, reflexes, and endurance. Memory suppression active. Retrieval required for reintegration. Only surviving subject." Ethan's stomach tightened. They experimented on me? All this time, I was a test." Laura nodded. "It seems so. And they wanted you back. That is why the drones are hunting you. They want to finish what they started." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then I won't let them. I survived once. I will survive again." Before they could continue, the facility shook. A loud alarm blared, echoing through the empty halls. Ethan instinctively raised his hand, and the scar glowed brighter. Machines outside the room powered up. Drones, larger than the ones before, began moving down the corridors. They were fast and lethal, designed for capture, not for killing. Laura's eyes widened. "They found us." Ethan stepped in front of her. "Stay behind me," he said. "I'll protect you." The first drone reached the door. Its metal body gleamed, and a bright pulse fired from its weapon. Ethan raised his hands, and a shield of energy flared into existence. The blast hit the shield and bounced away. The force pushed Ethan backward, but he held his ground. Laura watched, amazed. "How do you do that?" she whispered. "I don't know," Ethan said. "I just react." The drones attacked in waves. Ethan moved with precision, faster than human eyes could follow. He blocked, dodged, and struck back with bursts of energy from his hands. Sparks flew, and the sound of metal crashing filled the room. Laura stayed close, helping when she could, using her tools to disrupt the drone's sensors. Despite their efforts, the drones kept coming. Ethan's energy shield began to flicker as he exhausted his strength. The scar on his face glowed brighter, like it was feeding on the fear and power around him. He realized he could push harder, but it would hurt him. Laura shouted, "Ethan, you can't hold them forever." He nodded. "I know, but I have to buy us time." With a sudden surge, Ethan unleashed a wave of energy. The blast threw the drones back, smashing some against the walls. The lights flickered, and smoke filled the air. When the dust cleared, only a few drones remained. Ethan's chest heaved, sweat running down his face. His body ached, but he felt alive. More alive than ever. Laura ran to him. "Are you okay?" He nodded slowly. "I will be, but we cannot stay here. They will come back, stronger." They moved deeper into the facility. Ethan's memories began to return in fragments, flashes of bright lights, metal walls, and voices shouting instructions. He remembered cold metal tables, machines, and a woman with a calm but harsh voice. She had said, "He will survive. He will change." Laura noticed his expression. "Are you remembering something?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "Yes, pieces, but it is not clear. I remember pain and fear, but also power. Something inside me woke up." They reached another room, smaller, filled with glass containers. Inside some were samples of human tissue, others of strange alien material. Ethan felt a chill. They used this on me?" he whispered. Laura studied the samples. "It looks like alien biotech. They combined human and alien material. That is probably what made you different. Your scar, your strength, your reflexes. It all comes from this." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then I am not fully human." Laura shook her head. "You are human. You survived. You fought. You have a choice. That makes you human. But yes, you are enhanced, different, special. And that is why they want you back." Suddenly, a loud sound echoed. The floor shook. Ethan and Laura turned to see a group of drones entering the room. These were larger, armed with blades and energy weapons. Ethan stepped in front of Laura. His scar glowed bright. Energy surged through him, making his muscles tense. The first drone attacked. Ethan dodged, moving faster than he thought possible. He struck with energy from his hands, smashing the drone against the wall. Another drone came from behind. He turned and blocked it, sending it flying. The drones were relentless, but Ethan's reactions were sharper, faster. He was becoming something more than human. Laura shouted, "Ethan, be careful." He looked at her. "I am fine. Trust me." The drones circled them, trying to trap them. Ethan's scar pulsed, and he felt a strange connection to the energy in the facility. He could sense the drones' movements before they attacked. It was like his body had a mind of its own. With a deep breath, he focused. Energy burst from him, knocking several drones back. Sparks and smoke filled the air. When it cleared, only a few drones remained. Ethan was breathing heavily. His body ached, but he felt stronger. Laura looked at him with awe. You are incredible," she whispered. Ethan touched his scar. "I am different. I feel it. Something inside me is waking up." They moved quickly, deeper into the facility. The walls were lined with more terminals and labs. Laura connected her tools and began scanning. Files appeared, showing experiments, blueprints, and notes. Ethan stared, trying to understand. Laura read aloud. Subject 01, Ethan Cole. Omega Program. Enhanced with alien biotech. Memory suppression active. Retrieval required. Only surviving subject. Ethan felt cold. "They never wanted me to live," he said quietly. "They wanted a weapon, but I survived." Laura nodded. "Yes, and now you can decide. You can choose what to do with this." Power suddenly, a loud alarm blared. The facility shook. Ethan's scar pulsed brightly. Drones were coming again, faster than before. Ethan looked at Laura. "We have to move. Now." They ran through the halls, past broken machines and shattered glass. Ethan's movements were precise, guided by instinct and energy from his scar. The drones attacked, but he blocked and struck with skill beyond human limits. Finally, they reached a large chamber. The walls were covered with screens and strange symbols. A central console glowed. Laura connected her device, and files opened. They showed more experiments, more names, and a message addressed to Ethan. The message was from the woman he remembered. Subject 01, Ethan Cole. You were never meant to wake. The Omega program was abandoned, but your survival threatens the balance. You carry the code of both species. You are evolution's next step. Integration is required. Ethan's hands clenched. They never wanted me to be free, he said. They wanted me to obey. But I survived. I'm not theirs anymore. Laura touched his arm. Then we fight, together. Outside, the desert stretched endlessly. The sun had set, and the sky was dark. Stars shone faintly, but somewhere above, sensors stirred. Something was watching. Something remembered. And it was coming for Ethan Cole. Ethan looked at Laura. We need to be ready. They will not stop, and we cannot hide forever. Laura nodded. Then we fight. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Ethan's scar pulsed softly. He felt the energy inside him, waiting, ready. He was not just human. He was stronger, faster, and he would survive. No matter what, the night was quiet for now, but Ethan knew it would not last. Somewhere, machines hunted him. Somewhere, secrets of the war waited to be revealed. And somewhere, the Omega program still remembered its first and only survivor. Ethan and Laura stood in the shadows of the facility, ready for whatever came next. The fight for freedom had begun.